Welcome to our monthly business and portfolio update, and we start with some very exciting news, a milestone moment for the business, the successful launch of our Trobe US Private Credit Fund, which is now available for retail investors. We're delighted to have launched the PDS to market, giving Australian investors access to this asset class for the very first time through a strategy carefully curated with our product partners, Morgan Stanley. Our US Private Credit Fund is the inaugural product in the Trobe Global Asset Management, a strategy launched to market as we bring the best of the world's investment offerings to Australian investors. It will provide Australian investors the opportunity to invest into asset classes which are traditionally hard to access and strategies traditionally held exclusively for institutional investors. And it is through this lens that we have brought our Trobe US Private Credit Fund to market. Now, before we dive into that product further, I'm pleased to report that our $11 billion Trobe Australian Credit Fund continues to go from strength to strength. It's currently providing investors with investment returns which sit at their highest point in a decade. In the month of May, we passed another milestone moment for the business, 100,000 investors in the Trobe Australian Credit Fund. And a big thank you to each and every one of our investors and partners who have helped the business grow to almost $20 billion in assets under management. Pleasingly, our portfolio accounts, they remain in terrific shape with borrowers continuing to perform very well, and notwithstanding that we are 2 years into a rate hiking cycle and 2.5 years into a cost of living event. In fact, arrears, they have decreased over the last few months and now sit at just 3.1% within the credit fund. That is ultimately a reflection of the high quality borrowers we look to target and our deliberately conservative approach to the construction and management of our portfolios. Portfolios which are incredibly diverse, over 11,000 individual loan assets across the credit fund as we look to insulate and protect investors and their investment outcomes. It is these portfolios which facilitate the delivery of a premium, low volatility income across all market and economic cycles. If you are familiar with Trobe Financial's existing portfolios, then you will immediately recognize similar characteristics within the Trobe US Private Credit Fund portfolio. And it all starts with a disciplined approach to portfolio construction and management, all of which is undertaken by our product partners, Morgan Stanley. Firstly, it's the quality of the assets. And we are targeting direct loans to high quality corporate borrowers who operate in the US middle market. These are companies with market-leading positions, high barriers to entry with strong and stable free cash flows. Companies which don't operate in cyclical industries, ensuring stability in earnings and performance across the market and economic cycles. Morgan Stanley, they're highly selective in the assets that find their way into our portfolios, rejecting 95% of the 1,000+ loans they are receiving each and every year. And rather than taking big bets on a small number of high-quality assets, it's all about diversification. With the wholesale class having launched to market in December 2023, our underlying portfolio has been living, breathing, and performing for 6 months now. And at over 160 million in size, it is already diverse. Diverse from a borrower perspective, with 49 individual borrowers across our portfolio, with an average loan investment size of $2.9 million American. It's also diverse from an industry perspective, with those borrowers operating in 22 individual industries. You can see that while we avoid the cyclical sectors, we do have a bias towards service industries, companies which are providing essential or non-discretionary services such as veterinarian or HVAC services. Having a diversified portfolio of high-quality loan assets, just like in our Trobe Australian Credit Fund, that provides a high yield and similarly low volatility income profile for our investors. Of course, all investments carry risks, so you should carefully consider the PDS before making any investment decisions. So that's the portfolio which will ultimately be driving the performance of the product, which at a headline level seeks to provide monthly income with a target distribution return of 8.5% per annum. And this is net of fees and expenses, but before adjustments for FX rate fluctuations. At a product level, it has a minimum investment amount of $10,000 and provides quarterly liquidity access with withdrawals of up to 5% of the total investment class units available each quarter. We're also hedging the Australian dollars invested into US dollars to help to reduce the volatility in foreign currency movements. But the good news doesn't stop there with the product launch, and what better way to launch our Trobe US Private Credit Fund than with a competition. For eligible investors in the Trobe US Private Credit Fund, they will have the chance to win an incredibly unique opportunity to meet the manager, the Morgan Stanley Private Credit Team, in their headquarters in New York. One lucky investor and their guest will enjoy an all-expenses-paid trip to New York, which includes business class flights, 5 nights accommodation, and spending money. For a chance to access this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, investors are required to make a minimum investment of $50,000 by the 20th of August, and each $50,000 invested will earn 1 entry into the prize draw. And you can visit our website to learn more and view the competition terms and conditions. It is with these strongest of foundations that we are able to offer investors even greater investment opportunities with the launch of the Trobe US Private Credit Fund. And if you have any queries or would like to learn more, simply call our friendly asset management team on 1-800-818-818.